Hi everyone, Jan Fursdon here from Fursdon House. I wanted to do this video. I'm hoping it will go this time. This is like third time, so third time's a charm. If you had seen my other videos that I just put out yesterday, it's a journal swap that I did with Jane Lockwood. And this is the journal that I made for Jane. And it's nowhere near as nice as Jane's. I'm the one who definitely made out the better of the two. But this is my journal that I made for her. I hope you like it, Jane. Has a lot of love put into it and care, and I just hope you enjoy it. I had put a metal nameplate on it, the same as Jane had, but I had left mine blank, but then when she filled hers in, I thought, well, I can fill hers in. So this is Jane's journal. It is a sort of a, what I call a soft hardback. It's formed and everything. It's not real stiff, but it's nice, and you can see it's nice and chunky. I've gotten a little carried away as usual with my, I'm always got chunky ones. Anyway, let's do the measurements first. It is 9 by 6, and it's got about a 2.5 inch spine. There's the reverse. This is some beautiful fabric that I fell in love with. I got it a couple of years back, and I bought it for, it's a designer fabric that it was on sale. Yay! And I got it for my tea cozies that I sell in my Etsy shop. And I thought, well, this would make a great journal for an Edith Holden book as well, because of the flowers and the greenery and everything. And you can see it also has a bookmark in it. Here's the tail end of it. And we just made these in the retreat that I was at a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And I was able to use these little bezels. So thank you, Debbie Spencer, for that beautiful kit that you gave us. And I was able to use both pieces that I did, and now I know how to make these little puppies, and they're gorgeous. And holding the bookmark in place, it's a green velvet ribbon, and then here we have a bee who is perched on the book, and I love bees. So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead and open it up. It's just held in place with ribbon. Easy on, easy off. I'm going to try and get through this quickly, and let me make sure that I'm still in focus, because the last one I thought I was in focus, and half the time I wasn't. Highly irritating. So let's open it up. This is Edith Holden herself. And this is a pocket, and all of the pages that I've used in the journal that are Edith Holden, they're all original pages. None of them are photocopied. They're straight from her book. The book is called The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, and it all comes from her. Here is a letter in a pocket that will be addressed to Jane specifically. And here you'll see one of they're glue sticks that you get this with. It's not wax. Wax tends to harden and crumble. And I found someone, I can't even remember now where I got the idea, YouTube, a couple of YouTube channels now have it on there, but you just purchase the colored glue, and I've even done it with plain clear glue sticks, and they also do really well. Put a little bit of embossing powder on the clear ones, and it makes the image show up better. But this is just a cream colored glue, and you use it like a glue gun. You squirt it out, and then you take your wax seal that you would normally use for wax, and you just put it down in there, and a couple of seconds, bring it back up, and then you have this beautiful seal. I like it because it's more pliable. It's kind of rubbery, like glue is, and I think it works a lot better. So anyway, I'm just gonna try and go through here relatively quick. I've done a lot of stamping in this book. Sometimes I do some stamping, sometimes I don't do any, but I've been wanting to do more, so I did more in this one. Little bit of a lace and crocheted snippet there, and some stamping, and then what I've stamped I color with my Crayolas. But I have, full disclosure, I use the twistable Crayolas, which, you just turn the end of it and it gets sharper. A little bit of snippet, some Tim Holtz botanicals here, another snippet here with a vintage button. This is on paper that I got at the retreat. So beautiful. It's done with crocheted doilies or what have you, any kind of crocheted lace, what have you, or other kinds of lace, not just crocheted, and they stain it into the paper, and it's so beautiful. And this, I believe, came from Elaine. So thank you, Elaine. It's gorgeous. I loved it, and I thought, right, it needs to go in this special journal. Let's see, here we go. More botanicals. This is from the Edith Holden book. And this is a pocket, of course, and a tag. It just goes down in there, and that's using one of the Edith Holden pages. And I've just put some lace and fabric on the top. Here's a little charm. I love these little charms. This one I received years ago, and it finally found its home. It's just a bunch of wire that you sort of form into a basket shape, or a nest shape, I should say, and then the little pearl, it's like a little egg in there. So it finally found its forever home. Vintage button. This is a dandelion in the full bloom. There's a trick to getting these done, and you have to be very careful. You have to be prepared. So in my studio, I had a cup that would hold one. Then I went out and picked it very carefully, prayed that I didn't fall or that a rainstorm or a weird gulf of wind came through. And I made it inside the studio, put it in the cup. Then I get 2 pieces of acetate and quickly and carefully smash the dandelion bloom in between 2 pieces. Hold it very carefully, and then make my way to the sewing machine to get it stitched up. So that's how you get a bit of dandelion caught before it scatters to the winds. I think they're just beautiful. I love them. It's really neat to be able to see them when they're like that. Anyway, now you know how to do it. Here we have a pocket with some of my favorite ribbon. Lots of journal space here. I love journal space. I love to write. And here we have, I'm not going to take out all of these. I don't want to. I'll do some of them, but page there from the Edith Holden book. And then on this side is one of my pressed flowers. This is a passion flower. It's also known as a mock apricot. Got a little pad of paper here, and I've written on here, passion flower, also known as mock apricot, found in Madison, Alabama in July 2019. So that was last year. And then if you look in here, there is a tiny pocket, so you can hide things in. So let me get this little darling. Well, no, I'm not going to put it back together because that's just asking for more time. This is a little charm. Again, I've had this one for years and years, and it's little fairies, and it's used on the back of a Scrabble piece. I thought that was really neat. Like I said, I've had that for 10 or 15, probably 15 years, close to 15 years. And again, it's found its home in this journal, so it's really neat. So we're just going to go right on. This is what I call a fabric fall, and it's, you bring it up here. It's really nice. This is the same fabric that the cover is done, and I wanted to give y'all a hint on this. Sometimes when you're trying to attach these pieces of fabric or lace or something like that to a page, like if you're using lace and stuff, sometimes the glue shows through, and sometimes if you've got something like this which is kind of heavy and you're trying to stitch it on, you know, that could tear the paper. So what I've found that works for me, I get a piece of cardstock that's the same color as the sheet that I'm working on, or close to it, and because it's cardstock, it's a little thicker, I stitch the lace or the fabric onto the cardstock, and then I glue the cardstock onto the page. So it gives it sort of a reinforcement, and it keeps that glue from showing through lace and stuff, and it works really well. So thought I'd give you that little hint. So now you know. Here we have a little bit more stamping done here. I love ferns, beautiful ferns. And then we have the dragonfly here on the is it daffodil? No. Anyway, whatever he's on there. There he is. Now you know. What I call an accordion embellishment with the ribbon. We've got a tag here in a pocket. I put a little bit more stamping here on the page. Fabric snippet. This one has, what, 3 signatures and about 100 pages if I remember correctly. I forgot to mention that earlier, but this is the middle of the first signature. And here we have a tuck spot, more of my favorite ribbon and the flower, and it just, little extra space to write. This is just for decoration. I didn't make it a pocket. I don't always want pockets everywhere. I like them a lot, but more stamping here. This is a pocket that is made from, it's got little Velcro closures here. And inside is just a little bit of paper, tea stained, with Edith Holden artwork on it. And the pocket is made from an antique book that I purchased at a junk shop in Germany when I was there this past August, a year ago. Gosh, it's already been a year. I was over in Germany with my youngest daughter and grandsons and son-in-law. And my daughter and I went to this junk shop, and we found this, it was a book of old German songs. And you can see definitely the words are definitely in German. So there that is. And of course that's from the book itself. More cutouts, a little bit of a flag, what I call a little bit of a flag, vintage button there. This turned out really well. I used my ribbon again, but this time I put flowers on it, and I thought that turned out really sweet. And then just a bit of paper that's been inked and stained, cut out from Tim Holtz. It's one of his die cuts, so that goes right in there. Here we have another tag, beautiful colors, and I've just put a cutout on that. And here we have another charm. It's a little key. And I just put charms. Sometimes I hang them on the fabrics in the journals. Sometimes I just put them literally on the end of the paper clips. It works really well. And we have here, and there's several of these like this in the book. They're postcards. They're blank postcards. So they come completely blank on one side, and then they have the postcard symbols here. And you just decorate the opposite side any way you want. And so there's several in there like that. So I won't show those again, but that's what that is. It's just a blank. I bought those at Hobby Lobby, I believe, some years back. I think they still carry them though. But it's a great way to make art very easily. More stamping and coloring that I've done here. A little bit of snippet from a fabric that I bought years ago, and I'm slowly using it up. Here's a pocket made with an Edith Holden page that I've reinforced. It has one of my favorite pages of art in her entire book, and that's the thistles and the bees. I love thistles and I love bees. They're some of my favorites. And the colors are just gorgeous. And this applique here came from an old, what we call a piano scarf. Years and years ago, they would decorate and put a throw or a lace throw of some kind, sometimes silk throws around the piano that they had, sort of, you know, a decorative piece. The throw was literally falling apart, but I was able to save some of the appliques, and I just thought that would be nice there. Here we have another bee. Simple tag. Love those. And then another tag with a little bird and a die cut there, again from Tim Holtz. Here we have, this came from a shower, no, not a shower curtain. This was a curtain panel. We were at Lowe's of all places, excuse me, and my husband was off doing his thing because he's forever, you know, at Home Depot or Lowe's doing his building stuff. But I wandered off and I saw this curtain panel, and it was on sale, and I just loved it. And it's coated with all these beautiful machine appliques and beautiful colors, and so I had purchased that, and then, you know, slowly cutting it up, having fun. This, again, another little charm, and put that in there. This is lavender, and this is from last year, I believe. 2019's lavender. It may be from this year, but that's another favorite flower. And see if I think I can get this back on there relatively easy, so we'll go ahead and try that. But those are pressed flowers. That's from our garden here in Madison. Here, this is another one of the postcards, so I'm not going to take it out, but you can see it's the Edith Holden page on it. Here, a little bit of stamping and coloring, and then we've got a pocket here, which just flips over the top of the page. Put a little bit of a flower thing and some cheesecloth. This is the name of the book that the pages come from, and of course Edith Holden's name and where she lived when she wrote the book in 1906, Gowan Bank, Oulton, Warwickshire. And it's just a little bit of paper to write on. It's a great way to put things like theater tickets or ticket stubs or just whatever you feel like putting in there. This we have, these are tiny little paper clips. I love them. They're Tim Holtz itty bitty little babies. And this is just a fold over, more die cuts from Tim Holtz. And I was just using up some scrapbook paper that I had left, bits and pieces, and I spent an afternoon creating all these. It was a lot of fun. That's probably the most fun I have with journaling, is making the ephemera. A lot of fun. Very relaxing. Here we have another little charm, and it has a, kind of reminds me, I don't think it's a butterfly, it kind of reminds me of a moth. I think that's sweet. I did not make that. I purchased that, by the way. I don't think I made any of these except the bookmark, and then there's one other one in here. Done a little bit of the stamping here with the fern. See if we can get this one on relatively quick. Who knows? Sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they don't. Butterfly from the that I cut out from the book. Another little hint about butterflies, and anything that has those teeny little bitty antennae there that are almost impossible to cut out without, you know, slicing them into ribbons. So what I've started doing is just cut them off. I leave the head of whatever it is. I'm not completely cannibalistic, but I cut the antenna off, place the butterfly however I want to place it. Then I take a very fine black marker or a very fine brown marker, dark brown, and I just literally draw in the antenna, and it looks so much better than a little teeny little sliver of paper that rarely holds, and so that works out really well. So there's you another hint. So just draw them in. Works really well. This is another postcard, so you can see how pretty that is with the beautiful little bird and the purple flowers. Crochet fabric snippet, lace, Tim Holtz die cut. And this is a pocket using a CD sleeve that I've put inside there a page. As a matter of fact, you can see this emblem, or this picture, is the same one used in this postcard that I made. It's kind of neat. We've got butterfly applique and some lace here. And this, oh goodness, this took forever and 6 days. This is a thistle. They grow wild here in Alabama along the sides of the road. They don't grow well in captivity, that I've discovered. But the problem with thistles is they're very thick and they're very dense. So I spent 6 months with this one in my heavy-duty flower press that my husband made. And even after 6 months, you can see that it's still relatively, probably a ½ of an inch wide. So they don't press well. But if you're diligent, like I said, 6 months in the heavy-duty press. Well, then I discovered, when I put acetate around it, the thistle thorns, the spines, which are nasty little spines that really hurt. It would literally came straight through the regular acetate that I normally use. But as luck would have it, this heavy-duty piece came from some packing material that we received in the mail from something. And it's perfect. It doesn't let that, the nasty little spines, and I'm telling you, they are vicious. If you've ever held on to a thistle, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that was one of the first ones that I did, and I saved that for someone special, Jane. I've put this little silk ribbon in here, but I haven't knotted it because I wasn't sure. I thought, you know, depending on how you're going to use it, you might need more or less, whatever. So I've just left it unknotted, and that way you can decide for yourself how you want to do that. Whoops, come on. Get back here. Alrighty, let's go. Ah, there's the other little thing that I made at the retreat. It goes with the bookmark. It's a little bird. So again, thank you, Debbie Spencer. She was so generous in her her packets that she gave everyone. It was just lovely. I really appreciate that. And now I know how to make them. I'm happy to report. Here we have a card. Very simple. I love the eggs, different eggs that come from the different birds. This is another piece where I was literally taking pieces of cardstock that I hadn't used and was able to make ephemera out of them. I've used my cream colored ribbon here, the leaf ribbon, and just preformed little silk flowers. And then on the front, I've basically made a flower pot here out of some fabric, the green leaf, and then of course the little flower top, and it just, get it turned around here. And then I've put 2 cutouts of flowers from the book. So that turned out, I was very pleased with how that turned out. I love it when it works. Don't we all? A little bit more stamping here. Pocket made from one of the Edith Holden pages. A little crocheted flower and some, this is some old lace that I'm almost used up. And I've just made a little snippet here. And how I do those, I just get a base piece. You can see underneath there's a base piece. And then I kind of layer everything until it looks halfway how I want it. And then I just do a random stitch over it. I try not to do too much gluing. You can also use the base as paper and not let it show underneath. It just depends. But it's a lot easier to glue that paper than it is some of the fabrics. And then inside here is just a little booklet. Little sweet pages there. Okay. And let's see here. Another digital, not digital, die cut. I'll get it out in a minute. It's more of those sweet little paper clips. Beautiful flowers. This is the giant campanula. My green ribbon that I love. See if I can get him back in here relatively easy. And then on the reverse, excuse me, allergies are killing me this week. But this is a page that I made using the, just a page from the Edith Holden book. This came from the smaller, oversized paperback. And this is a purple pansy from our garden last year in Madison. On the reverse, I've used the plain sheet of paper. You can have some journaling space. But I like this because it allows you to see both sides of the flower. And I just put a little bit of a saying there from her book. Here, another fabric fall. And again, you can see where I've used this cardstock. And a lot of the cardstock, these in particular, came from strips of the Edith Holden pages that I've cut up. And I save any piece that's lengthy, that's clear, because that's what I use it for. So I'm really using every bit of the Edith Holden book. And this was, it's so beautiful. There's another piece in here with different colored flowers. It looks like it's been painted on. I got this about a year or two ago, again for my tea cozies, and got it at Joann's on sale, drastically reduced. Thank you very much. Cut out from the book, a little bit of stamping, another accordion. I use ribbon. You can also, instead of just ribbon, you can use fabric. Just depends on what you've got. Both of them look really well. More cutout. This is a sweet little pocket from a dress that my daughters, my oldest daughter and my I can't even talk. My youngest daughter wore when they were kids. It was a sweet little sleeveless dress with a full skirt, and it had these pockets on it. And the dress has long since given up the ghost. But I thought it would be perfect for this book. And it's got sweet memories attached to it. So I hope you enjoy that, Jane. And then I've just made a tag, again, using up scrap paper. scrap bits of cardstock, and just use some button and ribbon here, and a little tiny booklet. Some people ask, what do you put on these little tiny spaces? Well, it's perfect for inspirational quotes. It's perfect for Bible quotes that your favorites, or writing down a date or something that you want to remember, something like that. That's what I put in mine. A little bird here, and some more of that little paper clips. I did some more stamping here with different leaves and just colored those in. And then here is Mexican heather, which does really well when you're pressing flowers. Excuse me. It is here in Alabama, it's an annual, but it has a very long life. We put it out in early spring and have it usually until, well, it's still out there now, but it's getting tired. So it has like about a 6-month lifespan on it, so it works really well. And again, I've just left the reverse empty for journaling purposes. Let's see if I can get this one back on. Dun, 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 dun. There's one. There's two. Scary. Little card here with just a little fabric flower on it. I can see that. Put that there. A little applique here. This is just a plain card with some more of the ribbon. And again, I've attached that with regular paper clips. And on one of the paper clips, I've just put this little bead dangle. I'm not sure. It came off of something, but I'm forever taking things apart. And like if a necklace breaks or something, I keep it and take it apart. And there you see that beautiful bird. I think it's in the area of November of the book is where this one is put in. And it's one of my favorite pictures of the birds in there. It's such a beautiful color. Just gorgeous. And here we have a little fabric snippet. And these little, it's interesting. These are sold by the yard. They're on a strip, like a ribbon. But it feels like very, very, very soft leather. I don't think it is leather, but that's what it feels like. And it's at Hobby Lobby. And use your coupons and get them on sale. It's really not that expensive at all. And there are two different shapes of flowers. This is one of them. And then there's another one. So they're so pretty. And I just dab a little bit of, using my inking sponge, and just dab a little bit of stain on there too. Because it's cream color, but it's a pale cream color. And I like everything. It has a little bit of a darker tint to it. Here we have, same as before, this is ironweed. This came from, Tennessee, where my husband works. You all know the story about him stopping by the road because he saw these growing and thought I might like them. He was just coming out of work, and they work in a coal plant and a steam plant, so they look like they've been through a tornado and back, and just big bruisers of guys, and here he is out in the field, and of course someone from work saw him pulled over and thought he was in trouble, and got out of the truck, and Nigel, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. He's trying not to let on what he's doing. He's telling me this in the after the case, and the guy's like, well, are you sure? Are you sure? Yes, I'm fine. Well, what are you doing? I'm picking flowers for my wife. Bless his heart. Have to give him credit. He told the truth. And now they know that if Nigel's in the field, yeah, he's probably picking flowers for his wife. The man spoils me rotten. But on the same trip, as he's walking back to his SUV, he surprises a snake in another area. And so it was like, whoa, honey, you really don't have to, go that far. But like I said, he spoils me. He's not afraid nearly of snakes. I go nuts, but he's good. This pocket, another CD sleeve, and inside here are actual orchids. A thing about orchids, I don't care for the flower myself per se. Well, the flower's nice, but I don't like the long sticks that it grows on in the orchid plant. but my husband loves his orchids. And he said I could have some, but I try and wait till they fall off. And if you press them, they almost disappear. They're that fragile. But what I've discovered is if I pick them up, you know, after they've fallen off, or he actually says I can have a few, and I pick them off the stem, I'll come out, put them straight into the sleeve, and just let it dry naturally on its own. I just, you know, close up I don't seal it, I just close it up, let a little air in, and in about a week or so, you get this dried flower that works really well. So that's how you do orchids. That's how I do orchids at any rate. Beautiful purple clover. More of my ribbon. Love my ribbon. And let's see, this is the beginning of the third signature. The Tim Holtz die cuts. We have some toadstools, mushrooms, whatever you want to call them. I always call them mushrooms. Bit of some lace here on the tops. And again, this is, you can't see it very well, but again, I don't like the glue coming through the lace, so I will stitch this onto that little tab of cardstock. It was larger when I was stitching it on, because that would be very difficult to stitch on such a tiny piece. But once I have it stitched on, then I trim it back, trim the cardstock back, and then I just put glue along the cardstock back and glued it on. And again, it reinforces that as well. Vintage button, crocheted little Christmas ornament, I think is actually what that was. Have another tag here with a little flower. Ta-da! I'm trying to hurry. This is like the third time, and twice I almost ran out of time, so that's why I'm kind of bebopping along. Fabric ribbon here with making the accordion strips. And there are YouTube tutorials on how to do that. I did this one. I haven't done a tutorial, but I looked on a tutorial, and I think I keyed in or did a search for accordion ribbon, something like that, and it shows you how to do it. It's very easy, and I love the effect on it. Beautiful page here, ribbon, pocket, or tuck spot, more die cuts from Tim Holtz. Just some more paper to write on. More the ribbon. Vintage ribbon up here. The shrew, the Erd shrew, E-R-D. Not that I know anything about shrews, but this is an Edith Holden pocket. It's a double pocket. Here we have another one of the postcards. I think these are pheasants. I just love those colors. So it goes in the back pocket. And in the front, we have this. And again, I've just used pages from the book and done the snippets of lace and what have you on there. Here is a beautiful vintage coaster. I love the look of that. And again, what I've done, I've stitched around it on a piece of thin cardstock. So one, it helps the fabric, the shape, keep its shape. And then I just glued